apologize. I've been very long-winded with these today. This usually works really well face-to-face, but my relationship analogies do not work well when it's just me sitting here talking to myself in front of an iPad, so that's my bad. Maybe someday we'll talk about this again face-to-face, and it'll work really, really well. So we're going to wrap this up very quickly. I don't want to drag this out. Can an EU-type system work anywhere? I mean, the EU has definitely demonstrated it works. The question is, would it work for everyone in every region? IR theories vary in their answers. So let's think about, what do you think realism says about something like the EU system? Realism's all about power. So one of the things the realist is going to say is the powerful dominate the region. So what the realist would say about the European Union is, you can talk about the European Union all you want, but really what I'm going to talk about is Germany. Germany's got the economic power. It's really even got some of the military power. Maybe I'll add France in there, but I don't really have to have a lot of conversations about Belgium. Italy and Spain, cool places to go visit, but man, their economy is not very good. Like this, if I can understand these guys, I can understand the region. So are we really talking about economic integration, or are we talking about powerful states dominating other ones? You could imagine if NAFTA developed into something more like a customs union or something like that, the United States would, while it would be giving up some of its power as Germany and France do, it would still be dominating to such a degree that it would see benefits in it, or it wouldn't have made that decision in the first place. So what would a liberal say about an EU-type system? The answer is, it's a very effective tool when you are talking about similar states, and in particular, liberal states. So, for example, would this work in Asia between, say, China and the Southeast Asian countries? Now, there is a thing called ASEAN, the Association of Southeast Asian Nations. I think that's what it is. And it's an economic organization in there. But honestly, if you move to a more sort of EU-type system in Southeast Asia, including China, would it work? The realist would say China would dominate that thing. The liberal would say it wouldn't work because they don't have liberal values. And liberal values are all about the cooperation. If you don't have states that are sort of inherently and in terms of values cooperative, the EU system isn't going to work very well. What would a constructivist say about this? Constructivism is all about norms. And so what an EU-type system can do is harmonize different states. And it can do that by essentially creating norms that over time become normal. This is that homogenization idea that essentially, back in 1945, European states were separate things that sort of talked about working together. Today, they think of themselves as European states, and they really think a lot alike. I mean, if you go to France, if you go to Paris, or if you go to Brussels, or if you go to Stockholm, look, there's big differences between all those cities, between all those places. There's different languages, different cultures, all that kind of stuff. But man, they have become more and more alike over time, even to the point where, you can speak pretty much English everywhere. There's similar stores, similar restaurants, similar food types. I mean, there's still differences. If I go from California to Georgia, like I go to Atlanta, Georgia, like there's going to be differences between San Diego and Atlanta, Georgia. And yet I'm still going to find Denny's. I'm still going to find McDonald's. We're still going to speak English. I mean, there's still some things about this that, very much there is this homogenization. And that it sets these norms that different states can have. Now, there's some questions. These are more rhetorical, but just, for example, can the African Union work like the European Union? What would these different theories say about the African Union's chances to work? How is NAFTA different than the EU? You can go back to that chart. You can see an economic union is very different than a free trade agreement. But remember, it's a difference in it's more of a difference of degree of economic integration than those are two completely different things. Will NAFTA become more like the European Union? Could we see an evolution? Again, it's hard to imagine it right now, but could we see an evolution in which all this economic integration or the free trade we're having between Mexico, Canada, and the United States requires harmonization of trade policies, which requires other things, which could we end up with something like an NAU, a North American Union? Would that be a good thing or a bad one? Now today you would you'd probably say it'd be, I don't see how that would work out. But imagine 50 years from now, as sort of we continue to date, could we be moving towards something where things like this and things like this could make it a good thing instead of a bad one? No say. All right, that's it for week 3, guys. Good job. I'm not going to have you guys do an assignment. There's not going to be reflection due. Have a great Easter, and I'll see you guys next week.